Boys, yesterday we completed bond enthalpies. Yesterday we completed bond enthalpies. So that is the bond dissociation energy and bond formation energy. For diatomic molecules, bond dissociation energy is equal to bond formation energy. But polyatomic molecules, both these are different. So already we completed the concepts. Now, what are the applications of this bond enthalpies? These bond enthalpies are mostly useful to calculate heat of the reaction. Heat of the reaction, that is delta naught HR. So by using this is the formula, this is the formula. So that is heat of the reaction delta HR naught is equal to summation of bond enthalpies of reactants. See boys, so this is reactants. It is the only formula, reactants minus products. In all other cases, products minus reactants. If bond enthalpies are given to you, so bond enthalpy of reactants, so sum of the bond enthalpies of the reactants minus the sum of the bond enthalpies of the products. It is the only formula having reactants minus products for the change value. But in all other cases, products values minus reactants values. So very, very important. I will give you some problems based on this one. So very, very important. So delta HR, there is enthalpy of the reaction, standard enthalpy of the reaction is equal to bond enthalpy of reactants minus bond enthalpy of products. So this is the most important applications of this bond enthalpy. Next, one more. That is the resonance energy. That means some molecules in our nature not explain their structure with a single structural formula. Its properties are not explained with a single structural formula. So that molecule properties are explained with the help of one or more structures, two or more structures. That means a molecule existing two or more structures without changing the position of the atoms and sigma bonds, but due to the change of pi bonds and lone pairs. I will clarify the concept in chemical bond type. So that concept is called as resonance. That resonance energy is calculated with the help of this bond energy. So that is resonance energy is equal to expected heat of formation of reaction, that is experimental heat of reaction minus calculated heat of reaction. I will give some examples where that is based on problems. So up to now, wait. These are the two important applications of this is bond enthalpy. So this equation is applicable only if all the reactants and products are in gaseous state. So this equation is applicable only if all the reactants and products are in gaseous state. Otherwise, this equation is not useful. Okay. So this is applications of bond enthalpy. Now I am going to explain some laws in thermochemistry. The most important law in thermochemistry is that is Hess law of constant heat summation. What is that Hess law? What are its applications? So we will discuss here. See. Hess law or Hess law of constant heat summation, simply called as Hess law. Hess law of constant heat summation. What is this Hess law? See here. Let us consider I want to convert a reactant into product. Let us take A is the reactant. Listen carefully, boys. A is the reactant. Now, this A is directly converted into D in a single step. It is in a single step. It is in a single step. The heat changes during the process. That is delta H. This is delta H of this reaction. State of reaction. Here A is the reactant, D is the product. A directly changes to product. It is a one-step reaction, conversion of A directly into dA. But indirectly, A may also convert into D in different multiple steps. So see here, this is first of all A change it to BN, not D. My target is DN. So, but it is a reaction. So, in this reaction, delta H1 is the change in enthalpy of this reaction. Because it is a reaction, there should be a heat changes. Even though it is not complete reaction, it is a first step. Now, then B change it to C. It is one more reaction, but our final product should be DNA. But it is intermediate. B and C are intermediate steps. It is another reaction. It is first step. It is the second step. Here delta heat changes is, let it be delta H2. Next, C change it to D. So it is the third step in. Here the change in enthalpy is delta H3. So see boys, so I started from A. I started the process from A and finally reached it to D. And finally reached it to D. So it is the way to convert the A into D directly. Okay, but indirectly this is the way, another way to convert that A into D. So this is a direct step. This is indirect step. Indirect steps to convert A into D. But starting and ending points are same. Because this delta H is a state function, it depends on enthalpy is a state function, it depends on initial and final states only, but not depends on path in which it is takes place. So whether the process takes place in a single step or in multiple steps. Whether the process takes place in a single step or in multiple steps. At constant temperature and pressure, the total heat change of the reaction is always constant. Is always constant. This was observed by Hess and he stated the law. This law is called as Hess law. What is this law? See here, boys. So, at constant temperature and pressure, at constant temperature and pressure, the total heat change or enthalpy change, I'm using enthalpy change. The total enthalpy change in a reaction is always constant. Is always constant. Whether the reaction takes place if the reaction takes place in a single step or in multiple steps. In a single step or in multiple steps. This is called as that is Hess law of constant heat summation. So if the process takes place in a single step or in multiple steps, the total heat change of the reaction is always constant. The total heat change of the reaction is always constant. Therefore, according to Hess law, direct step energy, that is delta H value, is equal to sum of the multiple steps energy values, delta H1 plus delta H2 plus delta H3. This is according to Hess law of constant heat summation. That means direct step energy is equal to sum of the multiple steps energy. Direct step energy is equal to sum of the multiple steps energy. So this is called as Hess law. See boys, if the reaction takes place in a single step or in multiple steps, the total heat change in the reaction is always constant. That means direct step energy is equal to sum of the multiple steps energy. So this was given by Hess scientist. That is why this law is called as Hess law. So this takes place at constant temperature and pressure. At constant temperature and pressure, the total enthalpy change in the reaction is always constant if the reaction is carried out in a single step or in multiple steps. So number of ways, everyone, the meaning is the same. Therefore, direct step change in enthalpy should be equal to the sum of the multiple steps energy. Multiple steps change in enthalpy. So therefore, this is according to Hess law. Direct step value is equal to sum of the multiple steps values. So there are a lot of applications for this Hess law. So what are the applications of this Hess law? This Hess law is useful applications. This Hess law is useful to calculate lattice energy of the ionic compounds, lattice energy of ionic compounds. Next, to calculate electron affinity of an element, to calculate electron affinity of an element, and also use it to calculate so enthalpy of unstable compounds like carbon monoxide, nitric oxide, etc. These are the reaction intermediate, my boys. So these are very, very unstable. So these unstable compounds enthalpies are calculated with the help of this Hess law of constant heat summation. In our syllabus, there is lattice energy calculation for NaCl. There is lattice energy calculation for NaCl. Now our topic is calculation of lattice energy for NaCl compound by using this Hess law. Okay, so that is the most important applications of this Hess law of constant heat summation. Okay, now calculation of lattice energy using Hess law of constant heat summation. Okay, see boys. Calculation of lattice energy of NaCl compounds. Calculation of lattice energy of NaCl component. Now, so it is based on Hellenic. So this calculation of lattice energy is by Bohr-Haber cycling. It is the Bohr-Haber cycle. It is the method used to calculate lattice energy. This Bohr-Haber cycle is based on Hess law of constant heat summation. This Bohr-Haber cycle is based on Hess law of constant heat summation. Okay, so to calculate lattice energy, we use Bohr-Haber cycle. So this Bohr-Haber cycle is totally based on Hess law of heat constant summation. So what is this Bohr-Haber cycle? There are two scientists. So the method is developed by those two scientists. It is a cyclic process. That's why it is taken as Haber cycle. So here Hess law is used. So whenever Hess law is used, automatically there is a need of direct step for the formation of compound and multiple steps for the formation of same component. So how do you use direct energy is equal to sum of the multiple steps energy. So one of the energies you should calculate with the Hess law concentration. So see here. So the direct step for the formation of NaCl is that is, so it is NaCl, my dear boys, which is in solid state, A plus ion and Cl minus ion, Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. That Na plus ion. So that is, in our nature we have solid sodium and in our nature we have chlorine gas. In our nature we have chlorine gas. So that is the chlorine reacts with solid sodium. So to form 1 mole NaCl, that means it is the compound from its element in their standard state. So from its element in their standard state, now it is the heat something heat energy will be released, which is called as heat reaction represented with QR. So it is the exothermic process. It is the exothermic process. Something heat energy is that is as the enthalpy of reaction, which is the standard enthalpy of reaction. Standard enthalpy of reaction. So the energy used for process is minus 411.2 kilojoule per mole. 411.2 kilojoule per mole. So please try to mind value. It is very, very important. Please try to mind values. So it is right to calculate HCl. NaCl. But I'm going to calculate lattice energy. Lattice energy means that is a compound, that is the ionic compound from its ions, not from elements, not from compounds, not from elements, not from compounds. Okay. So this is the HCl solid from elements, but the same NaC is prepared from Na plus ion, which is in aqueous state, plus Cl minus ion, which is also in aqueous state. The same NaCl is involved in these two ions are in the reaction, that is NaCl. So that means there is Na plus ion, there is a Cl minus ion. These two ions are react with each other. These two ions react with each other. They give NaCl component. How many moles of NaCl is formed? 1 mole NaCl is formed. 1 mole NaCl. So when an ionic compound is formed from its opposite ion, the amount of heat released, because where there is an attraction, there should be energy released. The amount of energy released during this process is called as lattice energy. So here some energy released called as lattice energy. Called as lattice. That lattice energy is indicated letter U. That lattice energy is indicated letter U. Because it is released energy, I am taking my Q. Exothermic process. It is also exothermic, that is I am taking this one as a minus Q and because it is exothermic process. So it is the direct step energy. It is the direct step to prepare NaCl. So this is the way to find out the lattice energy. Now there are number of multiple steps. So we have Na solid in it. We want aqueous Na plus ion. We have Cl2 gas, but we want Cl minus ion. How to convert this N solid sodium to aqueous sodium ion? So solid chlorine gas to chloride ion. Chlorine into chloride ion. Okay. See my boys. So something energy is released because it is exothermic reaction. Why sir? Why energy is released? Why lattice energy is negative here? Because between Na plus and Cl minus ion there is always energy. There is always attraction. So between these two there is an attractive force. There is an attractive force. Whenever there is an attractive force, always the something energy will be released. Between these two oppositely charged ions, some attractive forces are there because oppositely charged ions. So that's why energy is released. So here the value is energy released cases. Okay. So now, but we have solid sodium and gaseous ion, but we required aqueous Na plus ion and aqueous Cl minus ion. Okay. So now, first of all, I am converting this solid sodium into gaseous sodium atom. Solid sodium is directly converted into gaseous sodium. The process is called as sublimation process. The process is called as sublimation process. Okay. So what is sublimation? The conversion of solid directly into gas. Yesterday I told to you. So that means it requires something energy and it is endothermic process. It is endothermic process. For this process, something energy is required. That required energy, sublimation energy, we call it as, so that sublimation energy is taken as a plus S. Plus S. Plus means additional energy. That is absorbed energy. That energy is called as sublimation energy. That energy for sodium is, that is 108.4. 108.4 kilojoule per mole. This is the sublimation energy for solid sodium directly converts into gaseous sodium. We should remember these values, my dear boys. Next, we have gaseous sodium atom. So we want to, it is gaseous, boys. Gaseous ion, it is also in gaseous ion. Okay, there is gaseous sodium atom. So I'm going to calculate gaseous sodium ion. Gaseous sodium ion. So how to convert? By the removal of one electron from sodium atom. That is, one electron is removed. One electron is removed. So for that purpose, something energy is required. That required energy is called as ionization energy. That required energy is called as ionization energy. The ionization energy for this solid sodium to gaseous sodium to gaseous sodium ion. So the value is 496 kilojoule per mole. It is 496. It is also endothermic process, boys. Something energy is required to remove an electron from sodium gaseous atom to convert into gaseous ion. Gaseous atom to gaseous ion. Okay, Dhanush, please write. Next, that means we have Na plus gaseous ion existed. This is the way to convert solid sodium into gaseous sodium ion. First of all, solid sodium converts into gaseous sodium atom. That is by sublimation. Now this gaseous sodium atom into gaseous sodium ion. That is by removal of electron. So now we have Na plus gaseous ion. Next, Cl2. So Cl2 means there is a bond between chlorine and chlorine. This is Cl2. But I want only one Cl atom because I want Cl minus n. That is why I want only one Cl. So now it is going to break. This is called as dissociation. So this gives two chlorine ions, chlorine atoms. This gives, but we want one Ra. That's why half it. That way it is a half Ra. The energy required to dissociate this bond is called as dissociation energy. That is for chlorine. For 1 mole chlorine, something is there. I'm going to take only half mole for one chlorine atom. For one chlorine atom. That is right. Here D/2 energy, that is the dissociation energy, is used. D/2 energy. D/2 means dissociation energy. So D is the dissociation energy for 1 mole, but D/2 is the dissociation energy for half mole. So that gives gaseous sodium atom. That gives gaseous sodium atom. It is also endothermic process, boys, because some energy is utilized to break that bond. Endothermic process. So the D/2 value for chloride is, that is 123 kilojoule per mole. 123 kilojoule per mole. This is the D/2 value. This is the D/2 value. Now there is a chlorine atom. This chlorine atom is converted into chloride ion by the addition of electron. This is the electron I removed. This removed electron is added here. So an electron is added to the outermost orbit of a gaseous neutral atom. Something energy released. Something energy released. This released energy, that means it is exothermic process. This energy is called as electron affinity of that element. Electron affinity. Because it is released energy, this is the negative. Now how much energy is released for this purpose? That is 348.6 kilojoule per mole energy is released. This is the electron affinity of chlorine. This is the electron affinity of chlorine. Now we have Cl minus ion, gaseous ion. Cl minus gaseous ion. There is Na plus gaseous ion. There is a Cl minus gaseous ion. These two are connected with each other. That gives NaCl solid. So something energy is released. That released energy is called as lattice energy. Here energy released, there is a release of minus Q. Minus Q. So this is the way to convert Na and Cl2 into NaCl, either directly or indirectly. Either directly or indirectly. So according to our Hess law, direct step energy is the sum of the multiple steps energy. Direct step energy is the sum of the multiple steps energy. So now I applying Hess law. What is the direct step energy? That is, the direct step energy is minus Q. That is direct step energy. So indirect steps law, this is S value, it is ionization energy value, it is a D by 2 value, it is electron affinity value, here is a U value. These are all indirect steps. So direct step value is equal to sum of the multiple steps energy. It is according to our Hess law, because there is heat energy is always constant. Change in heat energy is always constant. Therefore, according to Hess law, minus Q, it is the direct step energy is equal to sum of the multiple steps energy. That is plus 3s plus, it is ionization energy plus ionization energy plus, this is the D by 2, right? D by 2 minus, it is electron affinity, release energy. That is minus electron affinity. This is also released energy, minus U. This U is the lattice energy. Except this U value, you know all these values. Except that U value, you know all these values. So substitute all these values, my dear boys. Q value is this much. This is sublimation energy, this much. Ionization energy, this much. And D by 2 value, this much. So electron affinity value, this much. So that means except this U value, we know all other values. Substitute all those values. That is minus Q. That is minus 4112.2. Sublimation energy 108.4 plus ionization energy 496 plus D by 2 value 123 minus electron affinity value 348.6 minus U. 3 point, that is minus U. So finally, U is equal to, we got the value 788 kilojoule per mole. 788 kilojoule per mole. This is the total energy, and U means lattice energy. So lattice energy is calculated like this. So except that lattice energy, you know the all values. You know the all values. By substituting all those values, so finally this much energy is released, because it is released. So this much energy is released. That released energy is called as lattice energy. It is the way to calculate lattice energy of the ionic compounds with the help of this Born-Haber cycle, which is based on Hess law. It is the most important application of Hess law. Okay. Right. So another application part, that is for Hess law. That is, Hess law is useful to calculate heat of formation of heat of the reactions of, that is unstable compounds like carbon monoxide, NO, like that. So see here. So there is carbon which is in graphite form. This one involved in combustion. Combustion means burning in the presence of oxygen. It is going to be combusted. That gives carbon dioxide gas, which is the CO2 gas. During this process, let it be the heat change is something, because of combustion, sometimes heat energy will release. The released energy, let it be X. Let it X. Actually 393 kilojoule per mole, and so taking that as minus Xn. That is, minus means heat released energy. Combustion energy is always released energy. During combustion energy is always released energy. Okay. So this direct way calculates carbon dioxide. So it is a direct step direct step for CO2 preparation. For CO2 preparation, it is the direct step. Next, indirect steps. Multiple steps. How is this? See here. that is carbon graphite. Carbon graphite, first of all, reacts only with half mole of O2 gas, not with 1 mole. Half mole of O2 gas, that means half mole means only one oxygen, that gives a carbon monoxide, which is also gas. So it is a carbon monoxide formation, it is carbon dioxide, that formed carbon monoxide, which is in gaseous state, once again reaches with a half mole of O2 gas, that gives carbon dioxide gas. I'm starting with carbon and ending with carbon dioxide. But so it is step 1, it is step 2 only. This is a 2-step way to calculate, to prepare this CO2 gas. 2-step way. So because it is one of the steps, so here something like value is ready, let it be minus y. So it is another reagent, so let it be minus z. Minus x, that is minus y minus z, because these are the some reactions. So according to our HESA, according to HESA, direct step energy, that is minus x is equal to sum of the that is the multiple steps energy, that is minus y minus z. Direct step energy is equal to sum of the multiple steps energy. Direct step energy minus x. So multiple step summation energy, that is minus minus y minus x. Therefore, among these 3 values, no 2 values, that value is calculated. So this is the way to calculate one of the formation values. So that is CO is the intermediate. So that intermediate value should calculate with the depth of epsilon. So among 3 values, with 2 values, the third value is calculated. So it is as per epsilon. It is another application for the epsilon. So like this, that means if you are a reaction, if you have a direct step and multiple steps, among those, one value means the remaining values we know. So the third value is calculated with the help of this epsilon. That a direct step is equal to sum of the full steps. Automatically, it is able to calculate that value. Okay, it is the way to calculate so that enthalpy changes. Okay, so these are the applications of our epsilon. Add these two equations. Carbon graph plus half O2 gives carbon monoxide H. Let it be H1. This is delta H2. Delta H1 is minus, delta H2 is minus Z. Add these two equations. That is delta is equal to delta H1 plus delta H2. That is minus y minus Z. So that means this equation and this equation identical. Carbon graphite to gives carbon dioxide. Carbon graphite to gives carbon dioxide. So therefore, in this reaction, minus Z, in the reaction minus X, because these two reactions are same, automatically these two direct values are also same. Therefore, this minus X is equal to minus Y minus Z. Because equations are same, energies are also same. Because equations are same, energies are also same. Therefore, that energy is equal to sum of the steps energy. It is that per S. Okay, so this is the way to calculate. Thank you. Boys, up to theoretical part is completed. Now taking some problems based on this concept. So please take your paper. So solve problems along with me by yourself. So take the problem. That is see here. The enthalpy of Problems. Problems. Find the enthalpy of. Find the enthalpy of combustion of propane if enthalpy of formation propane H2 liquid and CO2 gas, H2O liquid and CO2 gas are 105 minus 285.5, 105 minus 285 and minus 395 kilojoule per mole respectively. Kilojoule per mole respectively. So very important model, boys. See here what he asked. Find the enthalpy of combustion of propane. What is the meaning of enthalpy of combustion of propane? There is propane. It is completely burned in excess of oxygen. During that process, something heat energy is released. That is 1 mole propane is going to be burned in excess of oxygen. That released energy is called as enthalpy of propane. Enthalpy of combustion of propane. Okay. Now convert that statement into equation. What is propane? Propane means pro in our organic chemistry 3 carbons. In that is it is alkylate. That is CnH2n plus 2 formula applied. So there prop means 3n plus 3. Now the formula is C3H8, which is a gas. It is nothing but I'm going to give a solution, boys, which is a gas. It is a propane. It is a propane. This propane is going to be combustion. So write the statement, convert that question into the equation. I am trying to convert that question into equation. So propane is completely burned with oxygen. That gives, see boys, all carbons present organic compound is converted into carbon dioxide, and all the hydrogen present in hydrocarbon is converted into water. So those are the productions. Now what's this equation? So 3 carbons are there, 3. So it should be 1 mole, boys. No change. I'm trying because 1 mole compound is going to be burned. That is 1 mole. That is 3 to 2. So 8 hydrogens are there. It is 4 H2O. I'm going to balance oxygens. 3 to 6 oxygens. 4. That is 4 oxygens. That means 5 4 which also gas. It is the equation. It is the combustion of propane. It is the combustion of propane. So here delta H value is there. Now I am going to calculate how much the delta H is called as enthalpy of combustion, which is taken as enthalpy of combustion. Okay, so this is the equation from question. Where this question is aim equation. How to from where aim is going to. So that is in this question. The question is converted into equation. It is called as equation. It is the balanced question. It's a balanced question. No. So the given values are. So here's the enthalpy of formation of propane. This for propane. This is for water. That is the money value, boys. This is water. Formation values are given to you. So this is for CO2. In reaction, if enthalpy of forces are given to you, so enthalpy of this reaction, delta H of reaction is equal to sigma delta H formula of products minus sigma delta H formation of reactants. Delta H formation of products minus delta H formation of reactants. That is equal to, so that is CO2. CO2 formation value. How much is CO2 formation value? It is for propane, it is for CO2 only. So CO2, that is 3 moles of CO2, 3 moles into CO2 value is minus 395. It is CO2, 3 into plus 4 molecules are there. 4 to 5 to minus 285. Minus 285. It is the total value of reactants divided by minus reactants. Reactants is, this is 1 mole, 1, 2. So propane value is how much? Propane value 105. 105 into delta H formation of O2. How much is that? 5 moles plus 5 into much. 5 into this much. See boy, delta H formation of O2. That value is taken as 0. Already at the formation, I'll give some condition. That value is going to be 0. Therefore, this value is 0. Okay. So therefore, finally we get, that is, it is minus 1140 minus 118.5 plus minus 1185, not point. Minus 1185 plus 105. How much plus value or minus value? It is 105. It is minus, it is minus. It is also minus. It is also minus, boys. Minus or minus plus. Minus or minus plus. So finally we will get, how much is the answer? It is minus 28. How much is the value? 222. 0 kilojoule per mole. 222. So therefore, delta H of this reaction is much. That, what is this reaction? It is heat of combustion. Therefore, is equal to delta H naught of combustion. Delta H naught of combustion. This is the way to calculate any. Okay. So very, very important model. Lattice energy of AlCl3 solid is 4800 kilojoule per mole. Kilojoule per mole. If the energy released, if the energy released in the hydration of Al3 gaseous ion and Cl- gaseous ion are 4000 kilojoule per mole and 500 kilojoule per mole respectively. Find the enthalpy of solution. Find the enthalpy of solution. Find the enthalpy of solution. Okay. See here. Enthalpy of solution nothing but delta H solution. Delta H solution equal to delta H lattice energy as delta H hydration energy. It is the formula. Delta H lattice energy plus delta H hydration energy. So you want to calculate enthalpy of solution. So already lattice energy value is to you. How much is the lattice energy? Lattice energy of AlCl3 is this much joules. Therefore, that is equal to 4800 kilojoules plus hydration energy. That is the hydration energy of. So Al plus 3 is 4000. Cl minus is 100. See here. AlCl3 break down as Al plus 3 ion, 3Cl minus ion. Only one Al plus 3. So therefore, it is for one Al plus 3, it is for one Cl minus Nd. 1 per mole. But here 3 moles of Cl are there. So it is delta H hydration is nothing but delta H hydration of Al plus 3 ion plus 3 into delta H hydration of Cl minus ion. That is equal to 4800 plus delta hydration of Al plus 3. Al plus 3 is how much? 4000. 4000. Hydration divided by negative. This is also negative winding. Hydration energy is dividing. That is a minus 4000 plus 3 into delta HCl. That is a 500. 500, which is also plus. This is a minus value. This is hydration energy AlCl. That is 4800 plus minus 4000 minus 3515. 1500. Therefore, 4800 minus 440 plus 55. 1500 minus, how much is the value? 8700 kilojoule per mole. This is the enthalpy of solution. This is the enthalpy of solution. So, it is very, very important, my boys. Delta hydration energy means hydration enthalpy of Al3 and hydration enthalpy of total C minus N. 3 more Cl, only that value is per mole N. That is into that much value is equal to total Cl minus hydration enthalpy. Sum of that value is the total hydration enthalpy. So finally we will get the answer. This is enthalpy of solution. Enthalpy of solution. So is it the heat of combustion? Methane and ethane. Methane and ethane. Methane, ethane and hydrogen gas are 890.3, 1559.7 and 285.9 kilojoule per mole. Kilojoule per mole respectively. Which of these fuels is most efficient? Which of these fuels is most efficient? All these are fuels, right? So which is most efficient? How to determine the most efficiency of the fuel? Efficiency of the fuel is measured with the help of calorific value. So more calorific value, that is the best fuel. That is the best fuel. S, cooker, S. So calculate calorific values, my dear boys. Yes. So our solution is efficiency. Fuel efficiency is directly proportional to calorific value. calorific value. So calorific value is equal to delta H combustion is a molecular weight or atomic weight. Molecular weight or atomic weight. So calculate for all those elements, all those compounds. So calorific value. Calorific value of CH4 is equal to CH4 value is this much. 890.3 CH4 molecular weight 16. That is equal to 55.64. Okay. Next, calorific value of C2H6, which is equal to this one by 1559.7 hexane. That is carbons. 30 molecular weight, which is equal to 51.99 kilojoules. Next, calorific value of hydrogen H2, which is equal to 285. 285. So 285.9 by 200, which is equal to 142.95. So this is the highest value. This is the best fuel. So best fuel. So fuel efficiency is measured with calorific value. Calorific value is equal to delta HC, molecular weight or by atomic weight, depending on the compound. Element is the atomic weight, is their molecular weight. And the atomic weight is their molecular weight, the user value. Okay. Next one. Next one. Calculate the enthalpy change calculate the enthalpy change when 50 ml of 0.01 m calcium hydroxide reacts with 25 ml of 0.01 m HCl. Given that delta H naught neutralization of strong acid versus strong base is 140 kilocalorie per mole. Kilocalorie per mole. So that is the question, boys. Try yourself. Try yourself, boys. It is the heat of neutralization basic problem. Heat of neutralization here. Calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice, reacts with HCl. It is a strong acid. Sorry, it is a strong base. It is a strong acid. Strong acid that gives calcium chloride plus H2O. Balance this one, that is the 2HCl gives 2H2O. This is the balance equation. Now 50 ml of 0.01 m calcium hydroxide involved in the reaction with 25 ml of 0.05 m. So what is heat of neutralization? That is the number of gram equivalents of, that is when 1 gram equivalent of acid reacts with 1 gram equivalent of base. So the amount of energy released is called as heat of neutralization. 1 gram equivalent of acid reacts with 1 gram equivalent of base. So the liberated energy is called as heat of neutralization. Now calculate how many gram equivalents of acid, how many gram equivalents of base are involved in the reaction. Based on calculate amounts. So this is for 1 gram equivalent of acid and 1 gram equivalent of base. Here, how many gram equivalents are involved here? So by comparing these two, we should calculate the total amount of heat energy released during the process. Please calculate it. So try to calculate it. Waiting for you, boys. As who told that? That value is correct, my dear boy. Siddharth, you are correct. Don't see my notes. Try yourself. Try yourself. Yes, good. Good, my dear boy. Siddharth. Wrong. Waiting for your answer. Find out the number of equivalents. Yes, correct. Bhuvan. Bhuvan, correct. How to calculate gram equivalent? Gram equivalents. Already the trick is completed. Any weight by gram equivalent weight or n into n factor or n into n factor. Both these values are used, right? Or volume. So normality into volume in liter or normality into volume in milliliters. That is milliliters by 1000. Milliliter by 1000. This is volume in percent. These are the terms used. This is gram equivalence way. It is a formula used to calculate gram equivalence. High purpose. Not correct. Decimal point is needed. Check your answer. Now, how many gram equivalents of calcium hydroxide? So I am applying the formula. For calcium hydroxide, gram equivalent, that is, if molar is given to you, normality. So the formula once again, if molar is given to you, that is equal. Normality is equal to n factor into molarity. Therefore, n factor into molarity into volume in ml by 1000. This is also the formula. N factor. I am using this formula. So n factor for this one is 2. Molarity. How much the molarity? 0.0. That is the 10 power minus 2 into volume L T by 1000. 50,000. Okay. So how much is the value? It is 100 by 1000 into 10 power minus 2. So it is 10 power minus 3. I'm equivalent. 10 power minus 2. Next. HCl. HCl. Equivalent. So that is n factor. For HCl, n factor is equal to 1. Next, molarity of HCl. 0.01, that is 10 minus 2. Next, volume in ml, 25 by 1000. 25 by 1000. Now, how much is the value? How much is the value? That is 25 and 40. 40 is 1 by 4 into 10 power minus 3. 1 by 4 into 10 power minus 3. So see boys, this is the 10 power minus 3. This is 1 by 4 into 10 power minus 3. That means it is the limiting reagent. And our answer should be limiting reagent. So therefore, for 1 gram equivalent, how much is the value released? 140 N. Here 1 by 4 into 10 power minus 3 gram equivalent, how much is the value released? 1 by 4 into 10 power minus 3 gram equivalent, how much is the release? That is 140 into 1 by 4 into 10 power minus 3. Okay, which is equal to 35 and 35. So it is in kilocalories. That answer also in. So this is how much? It's 35 something. 14. This is calculated 3, 5. That is 35 into 10 power minus 3 kilocalories. 35 into 10 power minus 3 kilocalories, which is equal to 35 calories. 35 calories. Sahib, that is 35 calories. Units also important. So is this clear? Did you catch the concept? The enthalpy of utilization of strong acid versus strong base is minus 57.32 kilojoule per mole. 32 kilojoule per mole. Full stop. The enthalpy of formation of water is minus 285.84 kilojoule per mole. The enthalpy of formation of hydrogen ion is dash kilojoule per mole. Dash kilojoule per mole. So this is the question. So enthalpy of normalization of strong acid versus strong base is 57.32. So strong acid versus strong base enthalpy of reaction means H plus ion aqueous ion plus OH plus ion aqueous ion gives H2O undissociated water molecule liquid. During that process, something energy is released. From this, I am writing the equation H plus aqueous ion plus OH minus aqueous ion gives 1 mole undissociated water molecule liquid. So here delta H value is equal to minus 7.32 kilojoule per mole. So this is the statement, this is the equation. That statement I converted into equation. This is OH minus boys. This OH minus ion is called hydroxyl ion. Hydroxyl ion is nothing but OH minus ion. You want to calculate enthalpy formation of hydroxyl ion. For that purpose, so it is the reaction I am trying. So therefore, delta H of the reaction is equal to product value minus reactants value. Product value minus, that is enthalpy of formation of H2 liquids minus enthalpy of formation of H plus ion aqueous ion plus enthalpy of formation of OH minus aqueous ion. So because product value minus reactants value delta H value, I am calculating delta H naught and not condition. So this is H2O liquid. The enthalpy of formation of H2O liquid, the enthalpy of formation of H2O liquid is this much value. Okay, S minus 285.84 and S. So enthalpy of formation of H is taken as 0. Okay, plus enthalpy of formation of OH plus ion aqueous, we want to calibrate. That is the question. So therefore, this H delta H naught value is this much. That is minus 57.32 is equal to that pressure. Therefore, delta H naught OH minus ion aqueous is equal to, because this is so bring it, so this one is that is a minus 285.84 plus 57.3. Therefore, that is equal to minus 228.52 kilojoule per mole. Kilojoule per mole. So this is delta H naught formation of OH minus ion. So that is hydroxyl ion formation. Hydroxyl ion formation. So this is the boys. It is